Yo, it's good everyone. Welcome back to another video interview guide. So some of you have been asking me about how to ace the interview, what actually happens, what sort of questions to ask, and basically how to pass it so you get the interview. You get the position that you want. I did a Q&A a couple of days ago on my IG story. If you don't follow me already, link is in the description for my IG. But basically I did a Q&A and quite a few people actually asked about, can you make a video on interview? So we'll do that today and we'll go through it because I realized I only have one video on that. So it's kind of sparse. Hope you enjoy, and like, comment, subscribe if you're new, okay? Because you're going to be in for a treat. So let's get into this. First, most important thing I want to get clear with you guys is 80 to 90% of it is not in what you say, but how you say it. So basically in your energy, in your conviction, how you carry yourself in the interview, right? Because a lot of human communication comes down to that. It's not necessarily what you say, it's about how you say it, the energy behind it. You can have two people saying the same thing, but they could say it in different ways. One person could be saying it confidently, the other person could be saying it insecurely, and you can tell the difference, right? So if we uncover this, then what are we trying to get across here? We're trying to get across the fact that you need to show that you know what you're doing. Even if you're starting with no experience, you need to show that you know what you're doing. You have to act like you've been there before, okay? There's no point, it's not going to serve you going in there all nervous, okay? It's just another job interview. It's just like another setting position, okay? That's why you need to fill your calendar with multiple interviews. You need to be in an abundance, so you're not even in that needy state in the first place, okay? So show that you know what you're doing. You need to sound like it, carry yourself as if you've been there before. If you have, obviously it's going to be a lot easier, but just do some research on the offer slash the social media profile if they sent you it, just to show you know what you're doing, you're going the extra mile, and you can kind of speak the language that they're speaking. If it's a fitness offer, you can already speak like in fitness terms and you know what to expect, okay? And again, like I said, act like you've been there before by being in abundance. So your calendar, if you're in the first step, one of your main goals should be having a ton of booked interviews. Okay, not necessarily about landing a position yet, because you're going to land a position by doing that. Just make sure, because you have nothing else to fill your time, just get on as many interviews as possible with good offers. And the offer that you want is going to come anyway, right? So volume game in the beginning. 3 main things you want to get across is very important, guys. That you have a good work ethic, which I hope every single one of you guys do have. You're coachable, so someone who's willing to listen to instructions, willing to take criticism, willing to take feedback, adjust instantly. Those are some things that I mean when I say coachable. And also someone who, like willing to adjust, as I said. And then most of all, someone who can actually get the job done, or at least not fuck it up, okay? If you can at least show that you're not going to fuck it up, you're not going to mess up their business, then you're going to be good. Because of course, it's good that you can get the job done, you're going to perform well, you're going to book them a lot of calls, everyone says that, but the main thing you want to give them reassurance first on is that you're not even going to mess up their business in the first place. You're not going to wreak havoc, okay? You're not going to leave a trail of fire when you hop in there and then when you leave, okay? You're not going to mess up everything. So those are the 3 things you want to get across. Make sure you do that. And then, as I said, body language, tone, energy. You're going to have your camera on. Just because it's going to be through Zoom doesn't mean people can't pick up on these things. So make sure you're on point. Now some common questions. Okay, so here are some common questions that you might be getting on the interview, more or less. And this is just based off of interviews I've hopped on, questions that people, especially my students, my private mentorship students, have gotten before. And then also just from other people, over the years. So mostly the questions derive of, obviously, what's your experience? Have you done DM, phone, etc. setting before? And we're going to go through these questions. We're going to break it down one by one. So to kind of give you an idea of how to answer it, okay? Ultimately, how you answer it is going to be different from person to person. Why? Because you have different experience levels. You have different things going for you, right? So I'm not going to tell you exactly what to say word for word. You just have to take the principles and apply it. Being, for example, what's your experience? Just, if you don't have much experience or no experience, you can you can be honest. That for sure works. You can also authority hijack. So all authority hijacking is using someone else's name for authority. So for example, I tell my students all the time, name drop me, reference me, tell them that you're being coached by me. And who am I? Obviously, I'm Matt Jacob. I've done 500K plus in set deals. I've been a setter for 2 years myself before moving into coaching. And yeah, I've consulted a lot of different business owners on this, on appointment setting. It's my bread and butter, right? And I have over 400 videos on it, build my personal brand around it. So just by saying that line, no matter if the person who's using it has experience or not, that's already added a ton of authority to them. And if it doesn't matter, what if they don't know who you are, Matt? Well, they can just look me up. Okay, easy. So if you don't have much experience, then the example that I gave for authority hijacking is my students using my name and my credentials, and that they're being privately mentored by me directly. Okay. Another example is if you're not being mentored by me, just say you're learning from me. You're watching my YouTube videos. You're watching from this person's YouTube videos, this person's YouTube videos, yada yada. Okay. But if you do have a lot of experience, if you have experience, then mention it. It doesn't necessarily have to be in appointment setting itself. You may have sales experience in the past, door-to-door, B2B, in-person, corporate, solar, doesn't matter. That's all good experience. Next thing, what are your hours and days per week you can work? Just be totally honest with that. Be willing to go the extra mile, but just be honest with that. Where are you from / what time zone do you operate in? Okay, again, just be honest with that. Why do you want this position? Pretty self-explanatory. Why do you want it? Is it because of how good the offer is? Is it because you like that you see how they run their team and they do things well? Is it because you've been a fan of their content for a long time and you want to set for them? So whatever it is, have an answer prepared for this, depending on the position. Do you know much about XYZ niche? So do you know much about the fitness niche? Have you ever done this XYZ before? Have you ever done real estate before? Okay, they want to know that. Okay, are you coming into this blindly? Do you know what this niche is about? Because if you don't, either they're not going to like it, or if they're cool, hopefully they're going to be able to train you. But they won't know how much to train you on if you're not going to be honest with this. So just be honest with this. Make sure you do your research, and you're going to set yourself up for success. What's going to be your method for appointment setting? They're going to ask you what your thought process is. How are you going to set? So this may come down in just general, how are you going to book us meetings? What are you actually going to do? It may be a specific question. So for example, if a prospect says this and this, how are you going to reply? Okay, so just be honest, brush up on your appointment setting knowledge. If you're stuck on that, I've got plenty of videos. Don't need to say any more than that. What's your long-term vision? What's your plan after appointment setting? Again, just be honest. Tell them what your long-term vision is. What do you plan to do after appointment setting? Do you want to become a high-ticket closer? Do you want to be a sales manager? Do you want to have multiple setters under you? Do you want to start your own business? What is it? Okay? Because if their goals don't align with yours, then there's no point in going with them. So I hope that helps. Make sure you watch this again if you need to, so you're prepared. Now, next thing, as I said, it's just like a normal job interview. Don't treat it much differently. Okay, it really is the same. Don't put it on a pedestal. And then, next thing I'm gonna say is, by this stage now, you've answered the questions, you've shown up with the right energy, you're confident, and then you're getting towards the tail end of the interview. And then sometimes they're going to ask you if you have your own questions. Even if they don't ask you if you have your own questions, still have your own questions, always. Because the difference between someone who has questions versus not having any questions, it just shows that the person that has questions shows that they want this more, okay? And it will actually serve you. It will actually help you answer some things about their business that you may have not known before, okay? So you might dodge a bullet there. So it's good to have some questions of your own to qualify them as well. So just as much as they're qualifying you, you have to kind of qualify them too in their offer. And it shows that you're serious. So here's some examples. Things like, where is the lead flow coming from? What's it like? Especially questions they haven't answered before or put in the job posting that you don't know. If they had, I like this one, if they had setters in the past or they have setters, ask what the best setters have in common. what did the worst setters have in common, so you can avoid those mistakes. The best setters, what can you learn from them? Okay, that's a really good question. How good is the offer owner or the closer on sales calls? Basically, how good are they at sales? What's their closing rate? Have they hopped on many calls before? What's their experience with selling, with high ticket sales? Do most people PIF, which stands for painful, or do they do installments? Just to kind of see how good their closing is, and like if they go for PIF versus installment, how much commission would you be getting? How much would your on track earnings be? Okay. Is there a path to becoming a closer? So this is especially for you guys if you want to go from high ticket appointment setting to high ticket closing. You want to see if there's a path to becoming a closer on that same offer, instead of having to hop off that offer and then find a new offer, which is like going to be sales. Okay, so if you can just become a closer, move from setter to closer in that same offer, you're going to be good. It's kind of like a shortcut. How soon can we get started? So hopefully by this point, everything seems good. They like what you heard, they like what they heard, you like what they heard, and you're ready to go. If they haven't already specified, just get a timeline, or ideally they start as soon as possible. But if you need to ask, just ask, how soon can we get started? And then they'll tell you the next steps, and then hopefully, boom, things go well from there. So those are some questions that you can ask yourself this time. And, I hope that helps. So pretty self-explanatory vid, very brief, has everything you need. I believe this is everything you need, to be honest. If you guys have any more tips that you want to share, put it in the comments. But that's pretty much what you need. It's just in the energy, show that you know what you're doing, answer the questions, have some questions of your own, okay? And then after that, if they get back to you and you get the gig, congrats. If they don't, make sure to follow up and be relentless in that. So I hope that helps, guys. If it did, then like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. And one last thing, you can go do this by yourself. You can go start getting the interviews in, start doing some trial and error, start making the mistakes, or you actually get what you want and you get the position, which is good. So you can go do this by yourself. But if you want to remove all the guesswork, again, I'm not forcing you, but if you want to remove all the guesswork, if you want to get the easiest path, acing the interviews, even not having to have an interview sometimes. Maybe you just get the position simply because you know the person. Maybe you get the position simply because you know someone who's friends with them and they put in a good word for you. If you like the sound of that, if you just want to skip this whole process, all the guesswork with acing the interview and landing a solid position ASAP, to then making solid commissions week in, week out through appointment setting. If you're interested in that, private mentorship slots, they're open. It's called the Oracle. If you want to apply, all I'm going to say is link below, and we'll speak one-to-one, and we'll see if this makes sense first, if we should work together or not. Okay? 3 slots per month, already 2 gone, 1 left. I wonder who's going to snack the last one, and I look forward to speaking to you. Okay, so anyways, if you want to learn directly from me, links are in the description. But that is the interview guide for today, specifically for landing an appointment setting in sales position. So if you enjoyed this, you know what to do. Show some support, share this with someone. And yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one. I'll stop yapping. See you guys.